It's July. Okay. Item 5.1, approval of minutes of the regular meeting of June 14th, 2018. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve the minutes.
Is there a second? Okay, it's
this summer, and the only time. We were all very happy to see each other. We chatted quite a bit, and we actually got halfway through our agenda. So I have one item to share with you today that I think I hope will have some real impact on what we're doing here. So today I'm going to talk to you about an expedited process for recruiting and hiring new faculty members. And just to put some items up here, for years faculty have been making requests that we try to move the whole process up earlier. This year we had 3 failed searches out of a total of 5. And while we can go into more detail about the why, it was pretty much the consensus that an earlier search would have helped. Earlier recruitment is consistent with the 4-year colleges and universities. It's also an EEO recommendation for developing a better and more diverse field of candidates. So, in keeping with my education theory, I'll have AP 7120 here, which spells out the role, which is our administrative procedure for recruiting and hiring all employees, and this spells out what faculty's role is. We consult, we advise, and we assist in the determination of need for new, bad spacing, or replacement faculty. And then all the department chairs who are requesting faculty come before the Senate, and they give what we call hearings, but they're actually presentations, very well-documented presentations on why they feel that the position is justified using data as well as qualitative information. And then the academic senate ranks. After that, the superintendent president will tell us how many positions are available. The deans make their recommendations, but that is our role in the first part of it. Faculty also serves on our hiring committees, and the department chair or an equivalent and 3 to 5 full-time tenured members will sit on every committee. So that's the role of faculty. So that's the background. Anyway, yesterday the Senate enthusiastically endorsed a process to move up all aspects of recruiting and hiring. The goal is that our first interviews will be conducted by the end of February, our second interviews in March, and offers to be made by April 1st. If possible, we would like to schedule the first and second interviews. Maybe I shouldn't put this up here because we're saying if possible. The first and second interviews would be scheduled within days of each other so that people don't, have to make multiple trips. They can stay in the area for a limit, just come down with a single trip. And again, another EEO recommendation. So what will change? Requirement notices will be required to be submitted to the executive vice president a week sooner than last year. From a Senate perspective, we'll be moving our hearings up by a week. We're going to try to do them in one day, and if not, we'll add one more day. And this is kind of interesting. We're also going to, all of the committees that will be meeting in the spring, it's usually really challenging to get all of those committees scheduled because of people's teaching schedules and meetings and commitments. We're actually, as soon as the job is approved, we're going to start setting up the committees. And we're going to get the committees established in the fall to meet in the spring, just to kind of, again, expedite. We're actually going to try to get those final interviews on the superintendent president's calendar at that time. So everything's been sort of tightened up. I'm not going to show you the draft plan, but the link is there. And it's really important to point out that there were just about everybody involved in this contributed to this plan. It really began with Dean Priscilla Moore, outgoing Academic Senate President, acting on these requests that we had gotten over the years. She and I worked together over the last 6 weeks. Our first visit was to Z, I don't see him here, to make sure that the data could be compiled in a timely way. He will need to do a little extra work. He said yes. Then we met with HR and Mona Lisa and Chantel to ask what they needed. They provided us with information, and they said yes. And then we met with Pamela, who also said, let's do it. And I think you talked to the superintendent president, who has endorsed this as well. So lots of people are going to be working hard to make this happen. Anyway, that's pretty much it for today. I will see you guys again in August, when I will probably, I hope, have more to report. Hi, Peter. For you, Pamela, 2 notices. The reason the Senate really needed to endorse this yesterday is we need to start spreading the word. This is a big change for a lot of different people. So we're going to send out Pamela's going to send out 2 notices, an early notice and then one before. But we were still hiring people in late May, or trying to hire people in late May.
What happens in a situation in which the faculty member delays just too late, too long?
You mean the ones on the committees?
No, I mean the retiring faculty.
Oh, well, then they don't get a replacement position.
Okay.
That's the penalty. So what'll happen is they may wait and delay to retire, and then their department has to go an entire year without even being considered for a replacement.
So that should be part of the visibility of this change.
And that has happened, by the way.
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Wow, good job. I love your PowerPoint, by the way. I just love that you come here. But I did want to say, later in our consent agenda, I wanted to just acknowledge the work that the faculty is doing on the open educational resources. So they formed a committee, and, when OER came out, everybody was like, woohoo, obviously the cost of textbooks are important and materials for students, but I remember 2 years ago, Kim Monda telling then Dr. Cash, president, superintendent of the Unified District, because the district really jumped on board to OER, and Cam was like, wait, no, because not everything's good. We're not going to just go digital. And I just really appreciated that, because a lot of what is out there is not quality.
I can't do it yet in journalism.
Yeah.
And I keep searching. Mass comm has better materials, journalism, not good.
Yeah.
I'm eager.
Yeah.
Because my textbook cost $100.
Yeah, so I just think it's great that you guys have this committee and you're really looking at it and you're being intentional and you're not going to compromise the quality of the discipline because it's OER, but that you guys are actually engaging in this work. So I know you guys probably saw it in the board docs, but we had gone, I think Craig and Marianne, we had gotten a big presentation to the trustees, and this was on like the trustee conferences 4 years ago. And so anyway, I just wanted to say good job, because I appreciate that,
you.
and I know the rest of the board does too. Okay, anything else? Okay, we are now at, this screen is so light. Report by the SSU students, no, because they're on vacation. Report on classified employees, no report, Liz, okay. Report from the superintendent president, he's on vacation, but do you have anything to piggyback on?
not.
No? Okay, well, we are so happy you're here.
Great, thank you.
And report from board members.
I was at a meeting in Isla Vista today where the School of Extended Learning presented about the tuition-free classes, and very popular. So I think it's good we're getting the word out, because people didn't know, no one knew. So that was great. A lot of excitement about that.
And anybody else report? Well, Jonathan and I attended after the board meeting, the partnership with the dual enrollment students from La Cumbre, and they had their celebration or culmination of the semester. So Jonathan and I went over to BC Forum, and actually they have another one later today at the campus center. So just pretty awesome to see students engaged and professors excited and family members and community there to sort of showcase what they had learned. So
That was very good.
that was good. Welcome back, Crystal. Congratulations on finishing your exam, and
Oh, yeah. Oh,
yeah. Student trustee Farmer has been working very hard, and we are glad you are here.
yeah.
Anybody else have anything to report? Trustee Carpenter and then trustee Farmer.
I just mentioned that yesterday I participated in a webinar put on by the Campaign for College Opportunities about the new funding formula. And while it was very interesting, and every time I hear discussions about these things, I learning more acronyms or confirming acronyms that I've been trying to understand and learn. But generally, I would say that the information I received was pretty similar to what we've already been told by our own administration. So I was pleased to hear we're ahead of the game. And,
Yes.
and the questions that were being asked by participants were questions I think we've already asked and understand. So, but it didn't really, it didn't answer for me any questions about what that really means for us, but it was a somewhat useful
Well,
webinar.
yeah. Thank you, Lindsay, for making us the advanced board of
Lindsay, yes.
trustees, to like head of the
Yes.
class.
You could have done the webinar, I think.
Trustee, oh,
Didn't know what your reaction to that, and I do, it was a different webinar. It was interesting to have you comment on that, because since I've been on the board for years now, and I do those webinars, lately there's been quite a few of them, and what I've noticed over time is that as a board here at this college, we're pretty well informed about what's going on at the state level, and in many areas, we're ahead of the game. So, and when you go, you'll find, I think, when you go to the state conferences, that you really don't need to be in all of those other groups, because I try to select the ones I think I can learn from. Not saying that you can't learn by revisiting anything, but we've been pretty well prepared. Starting with when I came on the board, I can't speak before that, because I think President Gaskin really took pains to make sure we were properly orientated.
true. Student trustee Farmer?
Just press it. Is it already on? Or it was already on?
It was to be up.
Is it on? Oh, okay. It was already on. So I'm currently coordinating with Cinere Santos from KUIT. She's going to do a story because I work for the Umoja program here on campus. It's Umoja means unity in Swahili, and it's to help Black students achieve academic success so that we can help them transfer on to four-year institutions. As we all know, Black students are the lowest performing in all academic departments here at SBCC. So we just collaborated with the ESP program here, the Express to Success, and we're going to be offering a course with English 89 and English 110, and ESP has specifically set aside all the spots in the class for just Umoja students. So it'll be a classroom with just Black students where you'll be able to see yourself reflected in the curriculum. You'll be listening to Langston Hughes, James Baldwin, learning about writers like that. So we're trying to get Black students in this class and have it filled up. So hopefully this KUIT story will really help the community see what we are doing here for the Black students in this community, show that we care about them and their academic success. So that story, I meet with her, we pitched the story to KUIT last week, and I meet with her on Monday to kind of finalize things. And I think Dr. Chris Johnson will be in the interview, Andy Gill from the ESP, and I think Kathy will be doing it as well. But just to get the word out to the community that are interacting with these young people every day and that can tell them, because these are classes that are so important for them to go ahead and transfer on that a lot of them aren't doing here on campus. So, for the board as well to be aware of that in that program that we have that. So if you as well know Black students, I know you're in IV a lot. I come across Black students all the time that don't know about this. So just continue to spread the word, and we hope to continue it going with math and then science, and then to really bridge that gap. So
I know Luz is on vacation, but is our Office of Communications in the loop? If you could follow up with us, maybe, Dr. Ross?
Is it back on? I've been with Amanda. I think she's
Okay.
the sub. So I've been, because she's getting some of our ads on pipeline for that. So I've been talking to Amanda,
Okay.
but
So
yeah.
maybe if we could just follow up and make sure that they're connected and, yeah. I did have a question for maybe Patricia. Given what student trustee Farmer said, how is that different from the MET English classes? Do you?
I am not very familiar with this, but I think it actually is one, isn't it?
So it's an MET class,
What, MET, what, sorry, not familiar with.
the multicultural English transfer.
I thought it actually was one. It's just,
You know,
some Umoja branding on it. So I should say I don't know.
Okay.
it's basically a class offered in ESP. I'm not sure if it's MET, but it's basic. The teacher, the instructor that's going to do it is Bonnie Bryan, and she went to an Umoja conference and got Emojified. So it will be an English class. That's what it's called, Emojified. So she attended a conference down with some of the other faculty and staff members that are involved in the Umoja work group. They went down to San Diego, I think, in June, I believe, or maybe it was first week of July, I'm not sure. So the class will involve Umoja practices, and some of those practices, it's been around for 13 years. It's at a lot of other community colleges, so it's well developed. It has a website. So you basically go to this conference and you learn Umoja practices, what the program is about, so that you can then develop it into the curriculum that you're teaching. So the instructor got the training, so I don't know if it's the same.
No, it is. It's just
Okay.
a fully transferable class.
Yeah, it's a fully transferable.
Okay, so it's open to all students with a focus on the Umoja students.
It has to be, but ideally, it's for blacks.
Yeah, but just so it's
Yeah,
on
but-
record that it
yeah,
is
it's
open
not-
to
yeah.
all students, because I don't think we
But you
offer
do
anything.
have to be in the database of emojis, so you can't sign up for it if you're not an emoji student. So you have to sign up and be in the database. So.
Okay, so maybe we can follow up on that too, and just kind of let us know what the, just the process for, and I said because I know at the thing we went to, it was a Chicano studies class, heavily Latino students, but there was a student that participated last week, or 2 weeks ago, we went to the class, and he shared, he was not Latino, and he shared his experience having taken the Chicano studies class at La Cumbre Junior High. So yeah, that would be good.
Sure.
Great, thank you, student trustee. Yes.
Is there any problem with creating a class exclusively for one race?
I think that's why we're going to follow.
Open access.
I don't think you
agenda is
can.
Yeah, I think that.
Like you can't in the database. Like it says it's open to all.
Yeah.
It's
I think
open to
that's
all
why
students.
So the
Dr.
class
Ralph.
is in fact open to all?
Yeah,
I think that's required.
no. Like they
And
can't close
statewide,
it,
yeah.
Is that true?
Well, and I think that's why Dr. Ralston will follow up with us. So she will take care of that for us.
I will directly answer that question, and we can bring back some information about initiating the Emoji program on campus, which is a great opportunity. There are no race-specific classes on campus. There are programs that are designed to help students of particular ethnicities outperform. When we look at our disaggregated data, as you're all aware, students of color, first generation of students, are not doing quite as well as other groups. And so Umoja is a program that's designed to help create wraparound support services and a really strong sense of community. So learning communities, and the ESP program is a wonderful example of that, is kind of more intensified instruction that says in a community-based, cohort-based classroom, students tend to outperform, so this will be a Umoja cohort. So students enrolled in Umoja will be qualified to be in the learning community, but I'll bring back more details and we can kind of talk about that.
Yeah,
Good.
I was pretty sure that was the intent.
Yes, yeah, so it's a cohort model, and the interest in that is this cultural perspective.
Sure.
Right, supported by the Umoja model and practice.
Yeah, I think definitely the presentation could be fixed a little bit, but I do want to make sure that we focus on Black students, because on this campus we do have an issue with that, and a lot of other programs on this campus do focus on a certain particular race. So I just want to make sure that this program is highlighted to benefit the African diaspora. So.
So it's like, I mean, we're an HSI institution, and so STEM is targeting, being an HSI, but you can't not tell an Asian student or, any other race, no, you cannot benefit from the HSI STEM grant because it's for everybody. So it's in that same light type of thing here. Awesome.
By design, Emocha is targeted toward African-American students by its very conception.
Yes, Trustee Miller.
I just have somewhat related to what you're talking about, but I was looking at my notes from the webinar yesterday, and there's just one point I meant to make, and that is, Lindsay has explained to us the formula going forward and the formula that will determine what we're going to get this coming year. It's based on the allocation, the three factors: enrollment, access, and student success. And we're trying, and our understanding is we will do better than others comparatively because we've done pretty well, at least compared to others in those categories. But the other thing I think we have to keep in mind for going forward is that this does provide tremendous incentive to do well in those, in access and student success. And so we just have to keep that in mind in everything we do from now on. It's not only the right thing to do, but it will result in dollars. And we already have good programs in place, and we just have to make sure that we're doing well with those programs and considering others that will allow us to succeed in those areas.
Yep. Did you?
I just wanted to mention a few things. One is that when I went, and I believe Peter went also to the garden party. We were there for the foundation a couple weeks ago. And also the GED graduation ceremony, which Robert and Veronica and I attended, which was a wonderful, wonderful ceremony. It's really very rewarding to go to that and hear the stories from the students. And the feeling in the room is just great. So, and then we had thought about having, or at least I thought we thought about having the report of the Ad Hoc Mitigation Committee, and I think time got away from that, got away from us in doing the agenda. So I kind of thought maybe it would help if I gave a Cliff Notes report, and then we can bring it back for the more substantive decisions that we would be looking to the whole board to talk about and make. So this will kind of get you started in thinking about it. The ad hoc committee originated, well, the membership was Jonathan, Peter, and myself. Our very steady attendees included Jeff Green and Luz Reyes-Martin. The idea originated in the survey that Anthony did the first day he came to work with us, and the results of that survey, basically. And we were focusing on what we could do to improve on some of the weaknesses that were identified by the folks responding. And that was a survey of faculty, students, staff, and community in varying numbers. But it got a pretty good response, 675. So just to remind you, the weaknesses that were identified in order of interest in this survey were neglecting the Santa Barbara community for state, national, and international revenues, no state-funded adult education, terrible parking, unbridled college growth, focus on junior college transfer mission, and lack of housing. So those are the things, and there's a range of how many people were interested in each issue. We started out in a listening tour. We decided to go talk to various electeds, including Helene Schneider, Janet Wolf, Joan Hartman. We visited with the Santa Barbara housing folks. Had a presentation from the Housing Trust Fund of Santa Barbara County on workforce home buyer program. And we had several meetings that were just discussion meetings as well. And we came up with several recommendations, and that's what I'm going to run through quickly so you can start thinking about them. One was regarding traffic and safety, which is an issue that we heard about. we thought that it might be of interest to the board to authorize Dr. Beebe to write to the city of Santa Barbara, asking them to explore a bike lane up Cliff Drive to where you enter the college here. There is no bike lane. And a left turn pocket at Wentworth Avenue, which is when you go down and there's a light there, and that backs up at the heavy traffic times. And the bicycle lane, I've certainly, and I'm sure others have, seen people basically swerving back and forth across the whole of Cliff Drive and onto the sidewalk and so forth, and that seems like a pretty dangerous thing. So those were on traffic and safety, communications, stay in touch with our local officials. Janet Wolf in particular had felt that she was late to understanding what we were talking about with Wake, and we need to keep that firmly in mind. Continue to improve communications with the community. We have just had the recent report to the community, which I think is getting a wide circulation and is really an excellent, excellent report. Growth and size of the college, which was an issue that was identified. We are looking at the question, I think, of having discussions with the community about setting an optimum size, and again, continuing to communicate that we have substantially dropped in enrollment from 2009, which was our peak enrollment, and when we had that really significant impact, I think, on many community members, simply because we were so much bigger. In housing, continue to work cooperatively with local entities, inform faculty and staff about that housing trust fund, which is available to assist people trying to buy a first-time home. Obviously, well, not obviously, but they don't have endless funds, but they do have a fund that is directed to that problem for folks coming to Santa Barbara. Authorized Dr. Beebe to explore the possibility of a small public-private mixed-use project that in the district that would be focused on housing for our most vulnerable students, foster kids, veterans, disabled students, probably students with mobility issues as well. And the mixed-use aspect might have a classroom as well, or classrooms that would be associated with this. And that's authorize Dr. Beebe to explore it. And then the foundation is doing a survey of Promise students as part of their data collection to understand how that program is working and what is happening with our Promise students. And they are going to ask about their housing needs as part of that survey. So we'll get data there. And a last item was the idea of including in the letter to the city of Santa Barbara the question of whether they could explore the possibility of a zoning overlay. We do not know whether that's possible or not, but the idea would be that in the Mesa area where there is a lot of pressure to convert single-family homes to multi-person homes and rent to students at a much higher return, could you basically put a zoning overlay in that would say, okay, everybody who's here right now is grandfathered in, but going forward, we don't want to convert the neighborhood into additional non-single-family homes when we have a neighborhood with single-family homes. So that's just a question to the city. So that's essentially most of the list, and we'll bring it back for discussion and decision.
Marcia, will you be putting this into a written form? There was a lot of specific information.
I'm thinking that it would go on the agenda with some description, because
Yeah.
really you want people to know what we're going to be talking about and have the opportunity to have public comment or whatever it is that would assist us in discussing it. And then it also can be, some aspects would be for decision, at least, for the board.
Okay, good.
So that's it.
So for the board, I mean, I don't know, that's meaty, that's a lot. That could be 4 hours, especially when you said public comment and community. There's a lot in there. I was looking last night at a lot of things, and when we had the joint city council meeting, and then we were going to, or the district was going to report back to staff and to the board and to the city by winter of 2017. Obviously, we know the unfortunate events that happened in winter of 2017, and all of us were consumed with a lot of things. So that is part of the neighborhood task force that Marty, Marianne worked on, and so that, and the date of that is 2013. You guys remember 2 years ago. So I think that that can tie in nicely with some of the things that we are doing that have happened since then, because the winter 2017 was sort of like that deadline, but then all this other stuff happened. So I think we can at least get that part in there, which is sort of like the housing and some of the Mesa stuff. I think so. We'll work on to that, although, because I don't think we can put all of that on one agenda. Otherwise, it's going to carry us slowly through fall. But I think as far as like an August board retreat, we can take some sub of that, if you guys are okay with that. If not, let me know now, and then I guess we can plan for something else. What do you?
I think we should consider them at a regular board meeting, or some of them.
Break
at
them
least.
up.
Yeah, break them up and do them regular board meeting, because retreats are harder for people to get to.
Right, that's what I think, yeah. So for August, if we were to put one on the retreat, what would be the one that you guys would want to,
Housing,
the housing?
The housing,
The housing, okay.
housing number.
the biggest issue of our time.
Okay, good. So that makes it easy for us, Angie, so we can, and then break up the rest, things sort of go from there. Yes, trustee Nielsen.
Marcia, I liked what you presented there. There were a lot of points.
There were.
And there's a lot of people in the public that are, or at least enough, I think, to warrant some kind of listing of all those points that's easy for people to find so that they can formulate their questions from them or maybe answer some of them. And doesn't mean it has to be, it should be the same list as, you know, what we were going to discuss in the meetings. But I think that the information, some kind of list or outline of it, I think it would be a really good idea to publish that online so people can find it and know what we're doing. Because it's a lot of points. It's not just one small subject.
Right, I'm not quite sure where it would go, but
I'm not
maybe,
either, but-
maybe Angie could help with that. I mean, it certainly, you know, and it was always the intention to put it into a board agenda so it would be described so people could see we're going to talk about it. And
So I think maybe trustee Nielsen, as we put them out, they'll have like description. I wouldn't want to just put something, a blanket statement, and then have people just formulate their own thinking without giving them some context. So I think if you guys are okay with what trustee Abud suggested in terms of breaking them up through fall.
Yeah, I don't totally agree with you, but that's okay. At least we're making an effort to get it in front of the public and
Well, no, I
make
think-
sure it's accessible.
But if you're thinking of the bullet points, I think we can put that in the minutes. Are you
Yeah,
thinking
so
just
they
like
could see
that?
it, yeah.
Okay, yeah, no, we could do that. But then the other, then we'll slowly talk about them and put them in a nice meeting. So we'll just
Make it-
bullet that in the minutes. Okay. Anybody else? Sounds
But
good.
I think that's what I was suggesting, that whether, so maybe I didn't make the point. I think the valuable part of this report will be not just the conclusions, but some of the thinking that went into each of the conclusions. That, I hope that is not a huge task, but I think a sentence or two that reflects what went on during those meetings would be very helpful.
yeah, and I think time just got away from us in trying to do all that. So it wasn't, you know, there was the agenda. So, and as Veronica says, we do have a lot of things that we have to put into these agendas, so.
Okay, thank you, guys. Item 7.1, so consent agenda. Is there any items to remove? No? Okay. So Angie, we can take 8.1 all the way through 11.1, and then we'll roll call the resolutions. Okay, is there a motion to adopt the consent agenda?
I so move.
Second?
Okay, it's been moved by trustee Haslam and second by trustee Croninger to adopt the consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve? Did we just do that? No. A motion to approve item 8.1 through 11.1.
Motion to approve the resolutions. What numbers are they?
Yeah,
11.1
8.1 through 11.1.
8.1 through 11.1.
I think we just did.
Oh, no,
we
sorry.
just did
Is it
that.
11.1
Yeah, no. we did.
through 12?
Sorry, it was moved by trustee Haslam and seconded by trustee Croninger to adopt the consent agenda, which is items 8.1 through 11.1. Yes,
Correct.
thank you, guys. All in,
We'll keep you straight.
thank you. It's so, it's a very light background screen here. Can you see it? It's like,
It's hard to see.
yeah, I'm like, I don't know what we're looking at. Is there any discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Okay, motion carries. Items 12.1 and 12.2. Is there a motion to approve resolution number 1, budget transfers between major objects, and items 12.2, resolution number 2, augmentation of revenue?
Motion to approve both resolutions, 12.1 and 12.2.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, it's been moved by trustee Abud and seconded by trustee Croninger to approve resolution number 1, budget transfer between major objects, and resolution number 2, augmentation of revenue. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Trustee?
Oh, sorry, roll call.
Oh,
No,
forgot.
no. It's
Student
a
trustee-
resolution.
Student trustee Farmer?
Yes.
Student, trustee Nielsen?
Yes.
Trustee Haslam?
Aye?
Trustee Bloom?
Aye.
Trustee Croninger?
Yes.
Trustee Abud?
Yes.
Trustee Miller?
Aye.
Trustee Gallardo?
Aye. Okay, motion carries. And item 4.1, is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, it's been moved by trustee Abud and seconded by trustee Nielsen to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Yes, and meeting has been adjourned. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
That was a resolution, too.